This has nothing to do with this podcast, but the Philadelphia 76ers are in first place, and Joel Embiid is the best player in the league right now, even the MVP. Hit my music. All right, so on today's episode, I have Karoline Gora, who is a personal trainer, yoga instructor, and also has her own fitness apparel line. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her in.
Hey,
Caroline, how's it going?
good. How are you?
Doing good. How's the weather up that way?
Warmer. I'd say it's about 8 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but
That still sounds cold. I don't.
yeah,
I don't know what
better
that
than
is
minus
either.
40.
Yeah, we had a had a big snow like in Arkansas like 2 weeks ago. We got like where I live, we got like 12 inches, which is unheard of. Yeah, it was crazy. Like it snowed like a bunch on Monday, and then it snowed again like on Wednesday. It was insane.
I don't know that's crazy.
The the
That
first
is
the
crazy.
first 2 days was fun, but after that it was like, all right, I'm over this.
Couple days of snow, like yeah, is fine. 6 months is really starts to get to you.
But thank you again for taking time out of your schedule and joining me. I
Yeah, thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
So I wanna start with an easy question. So how did you get started in the fitness industry?
So I've always been a pretty active kid, teenager, that sort of thing. But it wasn't until I was in college, I think I was 20, 21, I started to do like, I don't know how I found body rock, but I started to do like the high intensity interval training. Yeah. And started to go to the gym a little bit. And then I ended up getting an office job because, like, right out of college, because I took business admin.
Okay.
And I thought, and my parents thought a job in the office is just steady income, benefits, that sort of thing. So I just went into it. And but at lunchtime, and I actually met my best friend at the insurance industry I was working in, or the insurance office. And I would take her out and I'd be like, hey, let's go for a run, let's go do a workout in the park. And I really liked doing that. And I actually roped in a few other coworkers too. So in the back of my mind, I was always like, this is really fun. And you know,
Hmm.
I didn't really realize that could be a job potentially for me.
Yeah.
But so I ended up quitting the insurance job because office work is not my jam. I went to California for 6 months and I came back. I was like, hey, I have to figure something out. I'm not going back to the office. I don't want to do that. And I ended up just getting my ACE certification. And yeah, that's how I got started. It was just, I wanted to teach people. I always wanted to help people, and fitness industry just seemed to make sense.
So you lived in California for a little while?
Yeah. So first I went there to visit for 6 months, and then I ended up doing or getting a work visa and living there for about 3 years. So no snow for 3 years.
So what part of Canada are you from?
Calgary, Alberta,
Okay.
north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So in the fitness industry, there comes like a point in all of our careers where it's like something we want to focus on. Some people do CrossFit, some people do like postnatal training, some people
Mhm.
do other things. How did you like specifically get into like yoga? Is your thing?
Yeah. I like the idea of weight training and doing high intensity interval training with clients, but there was I didn't feel like my heart was fully in that, and there was a
Mhm.
small section of my um, personal training certification that had to do with yoga, and I was like, okay, well, I'm a practitioner. I've practiced yoga for about over 8 years, and it was just something that always made my mind and body feel so just at ease right after class. And I wanted to help others also get into that mindset of just staying in the zone. And, you know, you could do the same thing with training, but it's just something with yoga really struck me as just really fascinating. And I wanted to get into it. And so, but it was always expensive. I didn't have the time or made these excuses. And then when I came back to Canada, I ended up saving some money because I was going to move to Australia last February. And that didn't happen. So I was like, you know what? No excuses. I have the time. I have the funds. Let's go ahead and get my yoga certification. And I ended up getting it through Vancouver online with Naked Truth. So, and it just all made sense. After I finished that, I was like, yep, this is something I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and I love it.
So is the process getting your yoga certification, is that similar to like personal training?
So with ACE, I just did it online, and there wasn't a lot of like assistance from the school or the certification place. With yoga teacher training, I think it was 8 weeks. And we had our modules online, and then we would do a 3-hour Skype call on Friday or Zoom call, and a 3-hour one. So we did 6 hours on the weekend on a Friday and a Saturday of like hands-on, well, not hands-on, but like face-to-face training. And we practiced with our little student groups and that sort of thing. So it was a lot more involved. Yeah.
Is being a yoga teacher like easier or difficult than you could have imagined? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
It's definitely, I don't know if it's more, it's a lot of like it's just like training. You have to focus on your practice in addition to also coming up with classes for students as well. And I think it's a little bit, since it's a little bit newer, it's a little bit more intense to me than training, because you need to come up with a class that flows, that has a theme. You don't have to, but it's like, it's nice to have like a framework of what you're going to be working, what you're going to be, are you going to be, you know, working on hamstrings, flexibility? Are you going to be working on improving posture? And it all has to make sense and flow. And, you know, while you're doing it, you need a cue and remember to tell them to breathe. And it's just, it's like a dance, right? It's like coaching someone to dance. So, but.
So I a couple of years ago, I took a yoga class. I had no idea what I was getting myself into because I didn't like know at that time there were like different types of yoga. I thought it was all the same, and I thought like it was like I see on TV. It's just people, you know, doing poses, just relaxing. So I got in there. It was a bunch of so I'm, you know, was an instructor, and I just wanted to take a class just to because I've never been on that side, you know, taking a class. So I'm the only guy in there. So all the women made me get in the front of the class, and it was like the yoga where you like hold the poses, and it was tough. Like it was extremely tough. I
Yeah.
walked over, I was like legs were wobbly, I'm sweating. This is nothing that this is insane.
This isn't the class that I wanted.
Yeah, I was trying to go in there and get some mindfulness and, you know, relax and put my mind other places. But the whole time I was trying to concentrate on not falling.
Yeah. Plus, you remember to breathe, and then your legs are shaking. You don't want to fall over on the person next to you. Yeah, there's a lot going on at once in some classes. That's for sure.
So what types of like yoga are you certified in, or like what types of classes can you teach?
So vinyasa, which is a little bit of you move with your breath, right? So it's a lot of constant movements, a little bit of a quicker pace, definitely work up a sweat, get your heart rate up. I mean, it's not like a cardio class, but it's got some, you know, you're moving, you're sweating. There's yin, which is something that maybe you would have liked better, where you're holding seated poses for anywhere between 3 to 10 minutes, some poses for as long as 20 minutes. And then there's yang yin, which is a mixture of strength. So the yang is you're holding certain strength poses for a set amount of breaths. And then you finish off with yin, deep stretch and relaxation, which is a really nice restorative type of flow. You're just either on your back, where you're seated. Great for people with like injuries or if you want to just get a good night's sleep. And also yoga fusion, which is a mixture of you're using yoga poses and you're using resistance bands and weights at the same time. So it's kind of like a yoga fitness class, which is really fun. And yeah, I think that's all right that I could think. Oh, and kids yoga. Haven't gotten into that yet, but that'd be fun to teach.
How is because obviously we're in two different countries, but how is the pandemic like affected like your yoga? Like, do you do any in-person classes now?
I haven't started yet. So some studios are some of them are closed permanently. And then some of them are only doing a certain set amount of people, like a cap on their capacity and low intensity. So even the gyms are open at low intensity. So it's more restorative. There's no hot yoga, that sort of thing. I haven't even started working at a studio since I got certified. I've just been doing it online. But I think once the restrictions start lifting up a little bit more, I'd love to teach at a studio. But that's basically, how is it over there for you guys?
It's still some places are open completely. Others are like they got restrictions. You got to wear masks and distance and stuff like that. But I haven't been to an actual like a big gym in like over a year. So I mean, I'm trying to do got a wife and kids, so I'm trying to take whatever precautions necessary with this stuff because it's insane. I don't know how it is in Canada, but it is crazy in the United States. Like so many people have died. I mean, it's wild. Yeah, definitely not something that was on my radar. Like it's been crazy.
Yeah, a lot's had to shift because of this. It's also crazy here. Well, I mean, we're more spread out than the States, I feel like. But it's still a little, it's not, obviously, it's not back to normal. But
so you do a lot of like yoga videos and like challenges online?
Yeah, I actually just released on my YouTube channel. I just made my challenge public. I first had an email list, and I would send a video every day for 4 days and just check in with people, see how they're doing. And then eventually I made it public, so it's on my YouTube now. But it's definitely uploading more videos is something I'd really like to. Like, I'm actually going to try to film a few videos today. It's just more accessible for people. I know a lot of people don't have the budget for yoga right now, but it's just really important for mental health to get moving and to do something. So and it's also really fun. So yeah.
And what's your YouTube channel? Hey, promote yourself. Plug it in there. Plug it in.
Okay, so I'm under 100 subscribers, so I can't change the name of my channel. It's Yoga with Karoline. So if you search that, I can't adjust my URL yet. Maybe I'll send it to you over Instagram or something like that. Okay. It's like a bunch of letters and numbers together, but yeah.
So whenever you're doing like yoga, is it important to have like proper like yoga gear? I guess that's the right term, or can you like go in and like with like, because I've seen people work out in in a lot of crazy things. So like whenever you're doing all that movement in yoga and stuff, how important is it to have like the proper sort of like gear and stuff like that?
I mean, you don't have to have all the expensive, like a $200 mat or anything like that. Like a good quality mat, like certain ones that are like 10, 15 bucks are a little bit thinner. So your knees, if you've got bad knees, you might want to like double it up or get a better mat. In terms of apparel, I've learned in the past to have pants that are maybe check to see if they're see-through or not before you leave the house, like when you squat or do any sort of that, because that'll really make you feel, that'll ruin the class for you basically. And just nice, just better fitting clothing. If it's a hot yoga class, I wouldn't wear a hoodie or a sweater. But it doesn't have to be super expensive. It's something that you're comfortable in and something that's gonna keep things in where they should be, and like, just otherwise you're pulling up your pants the whole class. Like, I've been there before where I was pulling out my pants the whole class, or like realized there was a hole in the inner thigh, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
got to put a little bit of effort before I go to class.
And then, like, at that point, you don't want to leave the class,
Yeah.
like you're just gonna leave the class because you got. So it's like, oh man, I'm just gonna get through this embarrassment and not do it again. So
You gotta give
speaking
it
of
another
that,
shot.
so you started your own fitness apparel line recently. Correct me if I pronounce it wrong, but Cyan and Stone, is that?
Yes, cyan and stone. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so what made you want to get involved in that? Like, how did you like not like the other stuff that you saw out there and wanted to create your own? So how did you get involved in that?
Yeah, like a bunch of different reasons. So yeah, that was one of them. I've bought bras that are, from Lululemon's great. Like I've had a couple of their pieces. Other pieces from stores that were like $5-6 that just like got discolored, ripped, or they're bright pink and they would leak onto my shirt, my white t-shirt, and it'd be like, okay, it's 2 pieces of clothing ruined right there.
Mhm.
And yeah, same like I had leggings that were completely see-through when I went to class one day, and I was like, what is going on? And then so back when I was doing like Blogilates and Body Rock and things like that for years, I noticed, and Tone It Up, like I noticed they were selling their own merch and they were selling products in addition to their services. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that'd be really cool to have something tangible or have apparel that made people feel good and feel confident. And so, yeah, it was something that was in my mind. I told my friends, I was like, one day I'm going to make leggings or I'm going to sell this and like people are going to feel good about it. And in addition to, teaching classes and training people, and just kind of, it was in the back of my mind. I didn't know how to start a clothing company at
Yeah.
all. Never had my own business. I've always worked for someone, um, besides training, of course. And then when the pandemic hit, like I said, I was supposed to move to Australia, and I had all this time. I had some money in my savings from this move that never happened. And so I just decided to sit down and do a bunch of research on, like, from start to finish on how you do it,
Mhm.
what manufacturers I would use, that sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot. So was the process like difficult, more difficult than you thought at the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, what did I get myself into? I have like 2 notebooks from when I first started, and I was like scratching ideas, and it looks chaotic if you were to
Mhm.
look at it, but to me at the time it made sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did a lot of Googling. Thank God for Google. I asked a bunch of friends who had their own businesses, like, what were you feeling up until this point? Were you second guessing yourself? It's yeah, and when you're dealing with a material, when you're dealing with something that's tangible, it's like now you have to find someone to make this, or are you going to make it, or what
Mhm.
materials are you going to use, and is it going to be ethical, or like, what do you want out of this? So it was a process for sure. It took months and months of learning, and I have like a little bit of a business background from college, but
Mhm.
nothing on how to start your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you like come up with your own like designs? Like, do you draw them out? Like, how do you come up with your designs for your company?
So they have the manufacturer that I work with has like a few set designs, and I just picked ones that would suit certain, like would suit everyone and would make everyone feel comfortable. So
Gotcha.
basically, and stuff that looks like it's functional. And I ordered the samples of the pieces that I ended up picking, and yeah, I ended up wearing them for the entire summer. I went hiking. I went, did a bunch of workouts and then went running.
Mhm.
And yeah, I decided to pick those pieces because they were ones that would withstand like a good workout or some activity. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah.
Was it expensive to like start this? Like, cause I mean, I've never done a clothing line, so I wouldn't. So was it expensive to get started?
Yeah. Yeah. wasn't cheap, but and especially like there's certain manufacturers I was looking at in the beginning, like, you know, people can go on AliExpress and get a bra made for $3, but what's the quality going to be like? And so
Mm-hmm.
it just depends on who you work with or
Mm-hmm.
what you're willing to invest. You don't have to put a bunch of money if you don't want to, but what you're going to get might not be the highest quality. So I
Yeah.
chose a manufacturer that worked with a material made out of Econol, which is like a recycled material, and durable, muscle compression, like even offers UV protection, and just super thick, and something that was going to last, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it just depends on what you're wanting, what you're willing to invest in. So
At the end of the day, you get what you pay for. So I
that's
mean,
right.
you can buy
That's
something
right.
cheap. I mean, it's probably not going to be good quality. It's probably not going to last you long. So when I
That's right.
spoke to you a little while back, when I told you about having you on the podcast, and we talked for a little bit, you said it was made from like ocean waste, or like what? Like what?
Yeah.
What was,
Yeah. It's made out of this Econol yarn. It's called Carvico Vita, and that's like a sporty activewear type of material. But the Carvico Vita is made out of Econol yarn, which is made out of, like you said, ocean waste. It's not just made out of plastic. It's made of abandoned fishing nets. There's plastic, carpet fibers, any sort of tool they find, and same with landfill waste. So
okay.
it's woven into this magical fabric.
Is that something that was important to you to see? Like it was made from this material, so that what like
Yeah.
attracted you to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially like when I was researching the textile industry and like the fashion industry, how
Mm-hmm.
fast fashion is really polluting our environment, our world. And I was like, I need to really do my research and find something that I stand by, and something that I feel good putting out to the world, because I don't want to put something out that's just like made out of whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's too
Mhm.
much of that. So I just want to kind of shift it and create something that was environmentally friendly. It was important to me.
Have people been receptive to your clothing line so far, or your apparel line? Have they
Yeah,
really
so far,
taken to it?
yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I have a lot of support from my friends. I actually have a giveaway running that I'm announcing the winner on tomorrow, Friday, March the 5th. So, but I think I want to run a few more because it was really fun. There's a lot of people that have been interested. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a brand new company, so I still need to, gain the trust of
Yeah,
clients,
yeah,
and be
absolutely.
transparent with what I'm doing, just because, you know, right now I might just look like another brand, but I want people to know what it's all about and what
Yeah.
I'm about and my values. So
So what all pieces do you sell? Like leggings, bras, like shirt, like what all types of things do
yeah.
you sell?
So far it's leggings and bras, and there's
Okay.
other pieces that I'm looking at introducing, like maybe a couple of accessories.
Okay.
But right now it's the 3 pairs of leggings and the 3 different styles of bras and the 3 different colors. But
Okay. So this is something that I've been wondering for a while. How did you come up with the name?
oh
Like
yeah.
Rolling Stone?
So coming up with a business name is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
I don't even know the timeline. I have a notepad on my phone with just like a mess of lists of like things that I might use. So when I was researching online about starting a business, one of the things in terms of finding a name I found was make lists. Make lists, words that are associated to what you're selling or what your interests are, what you want this to represent. And so I was like, okay, since I'm using an eco-friendly material, this is an eco-friendly brand,
Mhm.
what represents this? What could go well with this? And I was like, okay, Mother Nature. That's, you know. So what are some words associated with that broad topic? And so since I lived in California, I lived next to the Pacific Ocean or close to it. And whenever I went to like Malibu or Santa Monica, anything like that, I always felt the ocean always made me feel so clear and just so at ease. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to write down ocean. What words are associated with ocean? Turquoise is too hard to spell. I can't spell it. Not a very good business name if no one can spell it. So I was like, okay, so I'll think about that. And then I'm actually an hour away from the Rockies,
Okay.
which I've been going to since I was a little girl, or my parents always took us. And I'm a big fan of hiking, being on the side of a mountain. And so I was like, okay, Rockies hold a special place in my heart, always have, always will. What's associated with the Rockies? So trees, certain animals, certain mountain names, so stone. And then I woke up one day and I was like, what's another word for blue? What's another word for turquoise? I was like, cyan. Cyan and stone. I was like, oh, that's
Got
it.
it.
When you know, you just know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it just clicked. So it took some planning, it took some list making, but eventually I got to it. So
Yeah, so by listening to you talk about it, this is not just something that just popped in your head. It's been something on your mind for a while that you wanted to do, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's cool. You definitely put a lot of thought into that name. Like
Yeah.
that's great. So I hate when I'm asked this question, but it's a question that this I guess it's necessary, but it's sort of a hard question to answer. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you anyway. So, how does your apparel brand differ from like other brands? Differ from the competition, I'll say.
Yeah. So other activewear is made out of synthetic materials like lycra and nylon and that sort of thing. And
Mhm.
that takes a lot of energy and crude oil and water and that sort of thing to make.
Yeah.
Just the materials alone. But I find that, like, who's making the actual product, right? It's not just the material. The material is not incredibly environmentally friendly, but who's also making these leggings? Like, is it like some places aren't very transparent about that?
Hmm.
So I differ, sorry, from the other activewear brands with using these like recycled materials to make my material. And I also have a contact with the manufacturer. Like I can text them anytime and say,
Okay.
hey, like, how's it going? They're really transparent with how they treat their workers. Like, so the people that make my clothing have just 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever hours they're working. They work 8 hours a day. They get a very great wage, and then they go home and they have a great work-life balance. And they do a lot of programs within this manufacturer. Like, they do a lot of programs for the workers in this manufacturing plant or factory, I should say, sorry. And yeah, I just want people to know that. I want to be really transparent with the fact that who's making my clothing, how it's made. Eventually, I'd like to go to Bali to where it's made, and
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, do a little tour and be really transparent. And I feel like that a lot of companies aren't really open to
Mhm.
their clients or their customers about where things are coming from. And hopefully that starts to shift.
So this isn't something where like the workers are getting paid like 20 cents a day in
No,
one of those
no,
situations.
no. And so that's why the cost is a little bit, I wouldn't say it's in the same range as Lululemon and Alo Yoga,
Mhm.
and because the product is made in an ethical way, and it's made with the type of material that isn't destructive to our environment. And so um, yeah, it's definitely was really important for me to have people that are making it be paid
Mhm.
fair wages and have a great work-life balance and that type of thing. So
That's amazing. I mean, like I said,
thanks.
it's cool that you really like care that much about it. That not only do
Yeah.
you care about your product, you care about who's making your product
Mhm.
and how it's affecting their like lives. Like that's awesome to hear. So like
Thanks.
what are some things that you hope to like accomplish, not only with your clothing brand, but just in general in the future, near
Yeah.
future.
So I definitely want to go back to taking more private clients with my personal training. Um, and I do want to expand my education in terms of yoga, maybe take pre postnatal, like something like that. I'm in the works of making a yoga program, like a certain amount of weeks, where I just have a video set for the person for a set amount of weeks each day, and just so people could do it at their own pace. And also, keep teaching online, teach at a studio, hopefully warmer weather soon, so teach yoga outside. Yeah, and then in terms of the clothing brand, I would really like to expand the collections and what I offer, and fully design my own collection one day. So that's
So you're really into like the apparel thing. Like you really hope to have like a big sort of company one day to where like you
yeah,
have like athletes and
yeah,
like other fitness professionals involved in it.
yeah, absolutely. That'd be really cool.
So do you want to like with your yoga and your other things, like do you want to like travel like different places and do that? Would that be something you would be interested in?
Yeah, actually, my yoga teacher trainers were saying there's a certain website I can sign up for where I can go there really inexpensive, like a really cheap cost, and
Mhm.
teach yoga out there for a little bit. So, I mean, that would be great to do on a vacation. I'm not sure about traveling though. I just moved in with my boyfriend, and we're planning a couple like little trips here and
Mhm.
there, but I think long-term travel is might be on the back burner for a while until I can take them with me, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was a mad woman running around, running from country to country, trying to, explore and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'd really like to have just settled down in Calgary, and really have a good base here, and yeah, so.
So you mentioned Australia a few times that you were gonna move there. Like, why Australia? I hear Australia has like enormous spiders.
Oh, I know. I didn't know how I was gonna handle that. I was fully prepared to. I was gonna move to Sydney, so it's gonna be a bigger city, so not as many creepy crawlies,
Yeah,
or so
yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard. I don't know. I just wasn't happy in Canada. I wasn't happy at that point in my life. I wasn't doing any training or anything like that. Like, I just wasn't sure what to do.
Mhm.
The first winter back from California sucked. And so I was like, nope, can't do this anymore. And it's really easy for a Canadian to get a working visa. So you can actually work while you live there for up to
Mm.
3 years, depending on your
Okay.
age. So yeah. So I just decided on a whim to to try and move to Australia.
Australia. That would be a big change. Like going.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm grateful that it didn't end up. I mean, the pandemic has been terrible, and
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
it's done to people and people's lives. And but I'm grateful to be in Canada, and I'm grateful to that to have not panned out, because then I would come back here, 34 years old, like 3 years later, and be like, okay, so I'm starting all over again.
Yeah. So are the winters in Canada really that cold?
They're bad sometimes. Like, it depends. Here it's a little bit warmer than 3 hours north, where I'm actually from, Edmonton. Um, it got to be minus 42 a couple days here. Yeah,
What?
and it was minus 50 for a full week back home last.
-50?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So it.
How is that even possible? Like, how do
I
you
we were colder than Mars at one point last year.
-50?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
There's it's and there's certain times where it's like there's a full on snowstorm, or there's a bunch of snow on the ground, there's a bunch of accidents going on, ice on the ground, driving super uncomfortable. It's pretty when it's sunny and there's no
Mhm.
snow, and it's like, okay, it's like crisp out, we can deal with this. But when it gets to be really cold, it's like, okay, this needs to be over with, like, right now.
So what is it to do? Like, what do you guys do for fun? Like, is it like do you obviously when it's -50, I don't think you like want to go out to like bars or anything, but like normally, like what do you guys do for like just like regular Like obviously you said you like to hike and stuff, but
Yeah.
other than that.
I did I mean there's people here, there's really nice there's a frozen lake. There's a couple of really nice frozen lakes in the Rockies. I haven't gone yet with Evan, but there's a lake that freezes over and you could I think it's Abraham Lake and you could see bubbles, frozen bubbles underneath the surface of the ice. You can
Oh,
just go skating around. There's a frozen ice castle in Lake Louise. So there's a couple of like cute things to do. I like cross country skiing. I didn't get to do it this year. You do sledding. I did a winter hike not too long ago, which was really pretty. Saw a frozen waterfall. But yeah, there's some things to do. Stay in, have wine.
yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, and snack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some winter snack weight I need to work off here pretty soon.
Was it a big adjustment for you to go when you lived in LA to go from like Canada to like Los Angeles? Because I mean that's one of the biggest, fastest cities in the United States.
I was scared to drive on the freeway for about a week. And then I just did it and it was fine. Like the driving part is I don't understand how some parts of it get so congested that there's traffic and there's like no accidents. Like
Yeah.
so that part I never got used to the part where okay, downtown LA is 20 minutes away from where I am, but it's going to take me an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah.
So that part was a little I don't miss that part. You know, I miss the beach and that kind of thing. That was really cool to have close by. Heat. Never had to use my snow brush. Never had to scrape ice off my windshield. Those were really good adjustments. Those were things I got used to really quickly. But yeah, just everything's pretty spread out over there and pretty expensive.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Like, you know, I had at least 2, 3 roommates at all times. At one point, I had 4. It's just so expensive there. It's beautiful, but it's just
Yeah.
really, really expensive. So, how's Arkansas?
Arkansas weather is difficult. One day it'll be sunny and beautiful weather. The next day it'll be raining, storming. Like around this time of year, close to spring, it's like tornado season. So we have
Oh,
like yeah. It's rough. Like always, and then pollen is really bad. It's
oh,
gonna get around like April and May. Pollen gets really bad, and it gets like to 100 degrees for like 3 months. Yeah.
oh my. So can you
Arkansas
even like,
weather in the south is rough. It's
yeah,
rough.
I mean, we have it kind of sounds like our weather. Like right now we have snow mold because everything's melting. So I'm like completely itchy, congested. And same with the spring, like the whole pollen and everything like that. But we in the summertime we get some pretty severe thunderstorms, just kind of like you do. Oh, I think you got out.
Yeah, so we lost connection for a second.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
hello.
that was odd. Yeah. All right, so I'm back.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I needed to stop the camera or not. I was like, I'll just stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy weather. We get I don't know if you heard me, but we have snow mold right now. Just like everything that sits under the snow just goes
Yeah.
out into the air, and then we get the pollen too. And we have
Okay.
a couple of severe thunderstorms in the summer, sorry.
So what are y'all summers like? What does the temp get up to?
I think we got to 34 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get get on my conversion thing and
Yeah, there's let me see. There's a weird equation to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, and it doesn't make sense. It never made sense to me. I always used kilometers and Celsius even when I was in the States. People are like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah.
So it's 93 degrees
Okay,
Fahrenheit.
okay. So that's pretty normal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was one summer where it rained the whole summer, basically. Mosquitoes are pretty bad. Yeah, it gets really hot, especially in our condo. But we're really looking forward to summer. That's the thing I love about summer is that everybody's out, everyone's doing something, because we only get 2-3 months of really nice weather before it starts to get all gross again. So yeah.
Because when I think of Canada, like I immediately think of like snow, mountains, and hockey. Like that's what I think of.
Well, yeah, hockey, yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. Snow 6 months out of the year in some parts. Vancouver just rains all
Yeah,
the time in the winter time, but here we get quite a bit of snow. So, but it's beautiful, and yeah, got the mountains and hockey, that's for sure.
Well, Karoline, thank you so much for joining me. Really
Thanks for
enjoyed it.
having me.
Really like everything you got going on, and
Thanks.
hope everything works for you. And
Thank you.
definitely be in touch. See how things are going.
Yeah, for sure. It was great. Thank you for having me on. It was great to finally talk to you after like exchanging, messages for a few years about like
Yeah.
training and that sort of thing, and being in close touch since then.
Yeah,
So
that's the cool thing about like
yeah,
the fitness industry. You meet people like in different groups and stuff, and like you
yeah,
network and stuff like that. So
yeah.
absolutely.
It was really cool. I've met a lot of cool people on Instagram through like fitness and different fitness accounts
Me
and
too, yeah,
hashtags.
different certifications and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah, yeah. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to keep in touch and keep you updated.
All right, well, you have a good weekend.
Thanks. You too. Take care.
It's Karoline Gora, personal trainer, yoga instructor, and has her own fitness apparel line. That was this episode. So if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, share, and root for the Sixers. All right, guys. See y'all later.